Good evening, Tony Datino, doing my Live with Tony on Wednesday in the 5 p.m. hour. And I'm backing up on articles and things I want to share with you, but I want to stay focused on something I started yesterday, which was the science behind, or on Monday. So if you haven't heard that, please go back to Monday's Live with Tony on exercise. It was the first part of it, and it's coming out of an article that's talking about physical activity changes the very structure of the brain. And it's probably, to me, one of the best detailed scientific articles that have really been explaining what researchers are finding about what exercise does in changing the brain in multiple ways. So in yesterday's broadcast, I talked about it having an impact on memory and what the elements of memory are in terms of preventing a loss of brain volume and increasing brain volume, and what it does for the hippocampus and the plasticity. And there's a second part of this that talks about what it does in terms of blood vessels. And so now we're talking about the science, to me, that we've known about and we're learning more and more about as to what helps our memory, no matter what ages we're at, and why does it help. So if you're one of these folks that, you get a box of something for Christmas and you open the box up and you don't want to read the directions and you just plunge into it, say, let me just do this and put this together, this is probably not for you. If you're somebody that opens the box up and wants to read the instructions and wants to know how does it work and what are some of the details behind it and the sensibility to it, then I think you would enjoy this particular article as much as I have in terms of reading it and wanting it to share it with my Live with Tony audience. So here we go. You're exercising. So now, again, as I shared yesterday, you don't need to be running marathon races. You don't need to be running 100-yard dashes, but you need to be engaged in some bodily movement. And they've discovered that over a 6-month study, people who engage in walking, just walking at a reasonable pace, have changes in their brain volume, and it does a lot of good things. Well, now comes the blood pressure part of this and what it does for blood vessels. So here we go. The brain is dependent upon the blood flow it receives, as it's only about a 2-pound mass of our total body weight, but yet consumes more than 15% of our oxygen that we take in and the blood flow that goes through it. So our blood is, the blood flow of our brain is crucial, and therefore the tissues need a constant supply of this oxygen that comes from our blood, right? If you think about what's in the blood, right, it's our body's oxygen. So the more oxygen that we've got, the better fuel or the purification of that oxygen is in terms of what we're breathing in, hopefully not in a smog territory or a heavily smoked room, but the better it is. So when neurons become more active, the blood flow in the region where these neurons are located increases in demand, thus it builds a healthier brain. So let's think about that, right? The neurons is where you get your plasticity, meaning where you add new brain cells, and you get stronger hippocampus, and you get more memory impacts, more memory skill. So now you get this blood flow going through there, and bam, you're getting all these benefits. Regular exercise increases the growth. Here we go. It increased the hippocampus. It minimized the reduction. It worked in helping us with the hippocampus, which is where we have our CPU, or central processing unit, for learning and memory. Well, what regular exercise does is it creates new blood vessels in the brain regions where neurogenesis occurs. And we talked about neurogenesis yesterday, which is the creation of new cells and the plasticity of the new neurons that are now populating your brain inside of the hippocampus and inside of the total volume of your brain. It provides an increased blood supply that supports the development of these, but it improves the functioning of existing blood vessels as well, ensuring that the brain tissue consistently receives adequate blood, that it is necessary and essential for its daily functioning. So what are you seeing recommended for memory and cognitive fitness and mental fitness? you're seeing article after article, science report after science report, the importance of some type of physical activity. And in one of my Live with Tonys I did probably a couple of months ago, it also talked about the importance of exercise, not just in the aerobic, but in the anaerobic. Some exercising we do 15 minutes twice a week, where we're also exercising our muscles. And that could be as easy as sitting in a chair without help of your arms, and getting up and down in a chair. That works on your thighs and works on your abs and works on your cheeks and your butt. And so there's enough that you can do just within the boundaries of your own home. If you're watching television, start with 5 and just get up and down 5 times from a flat chair, and not from the couch, and not from a sofa, or not from the recliner, but just go up and down, up and down. It will build your muscles, and at least keep your muscles actively alive. And the sad part is, inactivity, within 2 weeks, you start losing. So within 2 weeks, you start going backwards in terms of your muscles. So here we go. We're getting blood flow. So we're pushing blood flow through our brain, as well as exercising our muscles. So we're getting some of that too. So the exercise increases the regions of neurogenesis, providing supplies, but it also improves the functioning of existing cells, ensuring that you will have your daily need. Got that? Now finally, regular exercise prevents and can help treat high blood pressure, which is a risk factor for dementia. It works in multiple ways to ensure the health and functioning of your blood vessels, starting with inflammation. A growing body of research is centered on inflammation in the brain. The brain function is to check the brain for threats from microbes or dying or damaging cells. And there we want to do is minimize the damaging. So not only do we want to build strengthening, we want to build the strengthening of, but we also want to reduce the damaging that's going on. So the exercise is doing both. It's building new and it's minimizing damage in terms of your ongoing cells. With age, normal immune function declines and chronic low-level inflammation occurs in certain body organs, including the brain, which increases the risk of a degenerative disease, such as Alzheimer's, dementia, mild cognitive impairment. So again, we're learning this now. I've been blessed in having Tony Buzan be a mentor of mine many, many years ago, and at an early age started exercising. And Tony suggested I do some dumbbells and just do some things to build some of my muscles. Not to build muscle like, but to just continue to exercise my muscles so my body knows that, hey, those muscles are still active and alive. But as we age, right, the microglia becomes less efficient in clearing damage and less able to prevent disease and inflammation. This means that inflammation can progress, impairing your memories. So again, if we all knew this and we had a 10-menu checklist on exercising and what we could do and what we can benefit from and what we lose by not, I think we'd see people at least taking walks. Now, we're in pandemic time, right? So taking walks has got to have its time and space and masking and distancing and whatever. But there's no reason why people can't be doing exercising at home. As I've just said, there's got to be a chair in your house that you can get up and down with. There's got to be a half-gallon jug of milk or water or whatever you're drinking, fluid, a bottle of soda, and you can just do light curls and dumbbells. Anything that's going to help you build your stomach muscles, your thighs, your forearms here. So there's things we can do at home. And for aerobic, as I say, get a couple of books. I'm sure we all have some books out. Just go up and down, maybe make it 3 inches tall and just go up and down on a series of books, because here's the benefits of what you're getting. So it's reducing the damage to your body cells and to your brain cells and your memories, as well as building new strength and new capacity. Recently, we've shown that exercise can reprogram the aging brain and has shown to make the energy efficient and capability of counteracting inflammation that impairs brain function. Exercise modulates the inflammation in the degenerative conditions of Alzheimer's, and it shows us the effects that physical activity has on immune functions, but it's an important target for people that need to go for therapy and disease prevention. And I'm saying, here's Alive with Tony, here's your therapy. And here's some of the things you can do for disease prevention that are fairly simple and basic. But now comes one of the things I was reading in another article. How many people know what they need to be doing, but just don't get up and be engaged and active in doing? And tomorrow, our Friday's exercises, I'll come back and finish this up. People with low fitness are more susceptible to anxiety and depression. And boy, are we not going into a pandemic in terms of our clinical diagnoses, but are we also getting more and more research coming out with the mental aspects of the COVID-19. And I'm just trying to get messages out to people to say it doesn't have to be all on the downslope. We can all pick things up and begin to move on the upslope. And at least as the vaccine is coming out and as things are changing with the clinical aspects and science is researching these principles, there are more proactive things that we can all do that can make a difference. And that's what I pray for, and that's the difference I want to make with people in their lives, and why I continue to do Live with Tony sessions. So as I continue to read the latest research that's coming out on these various aspects of brain health, I pick them one at a time. We got 6 of them that we're putting together in a brain health course that Michael Latino is working on that will complement his Maximum Memory Mastery online course. So he's got from the Maximum Memory Mastery, he's building a course on brain health that I think is just absolutely awesome. One of those elements in that course are all about exercise. This now at least begins to tell you what are the physical aspects that prove that doing that is worthwhile. Till Friday at 5, have a good day tomorrow, and we'll see you then.